What, which of these events affected your generation? Besides 9/11, that affected your generation the most? Like,
Oh, I would say technology for sure, hands down. I mean, that's how it is in every single part of our life. I mean, unless you live in the mountains by yourself somewhere, I don't know, or like you are some type of isolationist. I mean, your TV is connected to the internet. You know, now you can get Pandora or other types of apps on your TV, or you have Netflix, or you have Hulu, or you have any of those things. In my job, I mean, everything that I do uses the internet, whether it's my email or checking grades for students or looking up colleges or using Naviance. I mean, the vast amounts of information that are readily available is great, but then you have to have the skills to sort through that and navigate and try to determine what is quality information and what is bunk.
what moment or event in your lifetime gave you hope for the future?
I don't know if there was like one specific event. I think I'm a pretty hopeful person by nature. I tend to hope for the best, and then sometimes it doesn't always work that well, but I definitely am more of an optimist. It's probably why I do the job that I do. Yeah, I mean, there's always room for things to be better. I think hope is what keeps people moving forward, you know?
Did you see any effect? Did you ever felt the effect of the recession in 2008, or seeing it affect your generation?
Absolutely.
How has it affected it?
So job-wise, I wouldn't be living here probably if it wasn't for the recession, because I graduated from college in 2004, and finding a job was fine then. And then I went to grad school and finished my counseling program in 2009 in the height of the depths, whichever direction you want to look at it, of the recession, trying to enter education, which is funded by tax dollars, which means when the recession hits, the country's a mess financially for tax-funded programs. And so I was one of 2 people in my program of 25 who got a job, and both of us had to move. So I'm not from here, I'm from Southern California, and I had to apply all over the entire state and had to move in order to get a job that I wanted, and the other person I know moved as well. Since then, some other people have gotten jobs, but it was really hard, and I didn't know if I'd be able to keep every year. It was like, oh, well, we'll have to see what the, revenue looks like, and I was the newest person hired, so then I would be the first person to be let go. And a lot of other people couldn't find jobs, people got laid off. In terms of my personal group of friends, I feel like most people were okay. I think people maybe because we'd gotten out sooner, we weren't graduating in 2008 from undergrad, people had a chance to build a resume and get some jobs getting out of college. But none of my close friends or my family were affected by the recession. I think depending on your education level, that also can play a role in what field you're in. So like my parents were fine as well. But I think the country as a whole has been massively affected, and then we're in this little bubble here where there's so much money and wealth that there was a lot of jobs here but not in other places because we have the whole tech industry. And so now we're in this like major divide where it's so outrageously expensive to live here that unless you work in tech, good luck buying a house, because people who work in tech have crazy bonuses and stock options and are coming in with cash offers, and people who are more traditional in their employment, like me, I don't get, $100,000 bonuses or $250,000 stock options at my job. My job is I know what I'm going to make every year because it's all on a nice little chart. People are going to, if things don't get better, people will get priced out of living here, and they'll have to move because they can't afford to live here, even though they have good jobs.
So you don't have a house?
I do not have a house. And if I lived in a different state, I could buy a huge house with the amount of money that we make, but not here.
Wow, that must be.
We did pay for a wedding, and I paid off my student loans, so that was good. There's people in far worse situations. I have a nice place to live, but it would be nice if you didn't have to pay outrageous amounts of money for something that doesn't seem like
Bay
it's worth
Area.
it. Yeah, it's great. And I mean, I know more and more people leaving California, or teachers who are leaving the school because they can't afford to buy a home where they live. And teaching and education is a valuable profession, and I mean, obviously people are well trained to be doing this. It's not just, you know, a job you can get right out of high school, but
So when you were young, what politician or celebrity did you identify with when you were young?
Definitely probably not any politicians. I did not grow up in a very political family. I mean, it was talked about, like, you know, whatever was on the news, but my parents weren't big political discussers. I don't think I really identify with celebrities because they were very other.
Okay.
They're not like real people. They don't live lives that are usually relatable to what you're doing. I guess.
If you had to describe the lives you and your generation lived in a sentence, how would you describe it?
Ooh. I feel like we have a lot of life left ahead of us. I don't know. I don't know. I've never really thought of that before. I think go-getters. I feel like a lot of people I knew wanted to go out and do things and
Change tomorrow?
and I think this also depends just on whoever your group of friends is and who you grow up with. You know, I don't know my generation nationwide, but I feel like people are, well, maybe not as independent. A lot of people living with their parents for a while, longer than they might have in the past. Also, recession issues can cause that. But like hopeful and positive that things could be better and willing to work for what they want. At least the people that I knew. Or no, I should say. They're still alive.
Okay. How about any question your own, like any last statement you want to make about all of it?
All of it? I hope that we don't let technology take over the humanity piece. I think the human connection piece is critical and huge and highly important and valuable to our success as a country, as a community, as people. And if we move away from having those face-to-face interactions and everything being text or email or, you know, Facebook or some type of social media exchange, you miss out on the connection. And, you know, we start seeing all of these like mental health issues coming up with people's depression and anxiety and crazy stress levels.
You believe
and
that's because of technology?
I don't think it's because of technology, but I don't think technology helps. Whereas when people have a more slow down a little bit, take time to like smell the roses, as they say, and form those connections, that helps to counteract some of those negative side effects. There's always been stress. People have always worked a lot, but they also, I think, had more of that balance in the past where you go home and you spend time with your family or you hang out with your neighbors and your friends and you have that better work-life balance, which doesn't let those negative side effects of working too much and maybe that impersonal feeling take over, because you have that really solid connection network of people. And now with people moving everywhere, especially in the Bay Area, people working 60, 80 hours a week, they're not home to see their kids. It's like, okay, good night, bye to everybody, do their homework. All right, see you later. And I'm going to go work some more. And then the kids are on their computer and the parents are on theirs. You know, you miss that opportunity to really have the human piece, which, I don't know, I think is critical. That is my summarizing statement.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'm sorry.